Hello, it's Tuesday the 7th of April, Holy Week 2020. 7 Words from the Cross, Episode 3. John chapter 19 and verses 26 and 27. Jesus said, "Dear woman, here is your son, and to the disciple, here is your mother." Jesus is moments from death, and a band of his closest followers has gathered at the cross. One can't imagine the horror they must have been feeling as they looked at Jesus hanging there. John tells us in his Gospel that Mary, the wife of Clopas, was there, Mary Magdalene too, Jesus' aunt was there, and the disciple whom Jesus loved. Since the early church, most scholars have thought that this disciple whom Jesus loved is John's rather cryptic way of referring to himself throughout his biography of Jesus. John is the disciple whom Jesus loved, and I think that makes most sense of the 6 times in which he's mentioned in John's Gospel. Or this person could be Lazarus, that's the next best guess, but whether it is John or Lazarus or someone else, this person was clearly John's chief witness to the crucifixion and the many other incidents in the latter part of his Gospel. Crucially, Mary, Jesus' mother, is there witnessing the awful execution of her son. Suddenly Jesus addresses them all, and one can't imagine the anguish and the pain that accompanied his words. When Jesus saw his mother standing there, and the disciple whom he loved standing nearby, he said to his mother, "Dear woman, here is your son," and to the disciple, "Here is your mother." And from that time on, this disciple took her into his home. Christians have speculated about the meaning of this particular incident at the cross. Was Jesus instituting a pre-resurrection, pre-Pentecost mini-church congregation here, with Mary representing the mother church and John as the archetypal disciple? Well, I don't think so, because it's the disciple who brings Mary into his home to care for her. And why not include the other women in this prototype church who were gathered there at the foot of the cross? No, I think the plain meaning is the true meaning. Even in his hour of death, Jesus is bringing people together in love and fellowship. His concern is for his mother, who is about to suffer a terrible bereavement, and she appears at this time to have been abandoned by much of the rest of the family also. So John at once takes Mary under his care, and in turn Mary has someone whom Jesus treasured to treasure herself and care for her at her son's request. If this is archetypal of anything, it is a picture of redeemed relationship, something that Christian friends, families, and congregations have enjoyed since Jesus died for sins. As people draw near to Jesus in loving relationship, they draw nearer to each other too. The key to better relationships is a closer walk with God. So those moments at the cross must have been horrific for Mary and the disciple whom Jesus loved, but at least in and through it they had each other to lean on. And so the third word from the cross gives a foretaste of the next great benefit of Christ's death for all who will place their trust in him. Redeemed relationships. Family, friends, church, home. These are the holding pattern for all God's people until we reach our true home with Jesus in heaven. "Dear woman, here is your son," said Jesus, and to the disciple, "Here is your mother," the third of the 7 words from the cross. And so, gracious Lord Jesus, we thank you that you died for all, that all might be drawn into relationship with you by faith. As we draw near to you today, may we draw nearer to friends and family, even in these days of isolation. Amen.